Hello everyone. Hey, it's Karen. Back with some Tuesday tips, and today is Election Day in the United States. I know that we have some international members in this group, but a majority of us are from the United States. But these tools and tips will be helpful for everyone. So, whenever there's kind of like significant change happening in a community, political changes, there's a lot of stress that goes along with that, a lot of emotions, and it's sometimes often a lot of division between even family members and communities. And so, with today being election day, and then for the next few weeks, right, as essentially half the population adjust to either their candidate winning or not winning, and these are also for a lot of these local elections as well, there might be a lot of kind of emotional unease and turmoil. And so I wanted to give you some tools to help navigate that so that you can really, one, be aware of it and not have that extra stress sneak up on you, but also so that you can take care of yourself and really be more grounded and feel more in control. Because when so much is happening around us, often we can feel a little bit out of control, and we're just responding to the stress and the emotions around us rather than than creating our own path forward. So I'm really excited to talk about this, and I would love to see if you're here with me, if you're live or watching the replay, and I'd love to hear your insights as well. So we're going to talk about kind of 4 essential things that I thought would be really good to focus on to help us navigate this time. So we're going to talk quick about like setting boundaries in our exposure. So deciding what kind of exposure we want to stress and depleting emotions. We're also going to talk about how to check in with ourselves more frequently emotionally so that we're aware of how we are actually processing this. Then we're going to talk about how to actually process emotions in our bodies in different ways. And then we're going to talk about the importance of just connecting to our core person and ourself, so that we can move forward in a very empowered way. So we'll just chat about all this briefly, and so that you don't have to listen for too long, but it's all really valuable information. So first, each of us needs to decide what kind of exposure we are comfortable with when it comes to negative, depleting emotions, stress, election coverage, and decide what we're comfortable with. And then I'm giving you permission to set those boundaries, to maybe not to snooze maybe some people in your friends groups or your feeds whose posts might be angry or difficult for you. So, there's a lot of different ways you can snooze people's posts for 30 days. It doesn't mean you have to completely get rid of them. Or you can just set certain boundaries, like I'm choosing not to engage in any posts, or I'm just going to post my thought once a day and then only engage with comments on that post. It really depends on you. So I'm talking a lot about social media exposure. Because for me personally, I am concerned about all of the drama that I'm going to have to navigate just in social media in general, regardless of who wins. Because then usually it's a few weeks of people processing publicly on social media, right? And I'm an empathetic person, and a lot of nurses are very empathetic. So those sorts of emotional processing by other people in public spaces, that impacts us. So it's really important that we are aware of that and do some extra things. So I would encourage you to think about what boundaries do you want to set. Maybe you just choose to follow like 1 or 2 news sites, right? It's kind of good to get both perspectives, right? But like just following one or one simple, clear site for election results. And there's a lot of ways to minimize the extra and input. And doing that is allowing you to reserve your energy, right? To protect your valuable energy and not be putting it into kind of other people's issues, right? And allowing it for your own processing. So next, I would really encourage you to do more emotional check-ins with yourself, especially if you're an empathetic person. Just doing something daily to check in with how you're actually doing. This could be a simple practice of journaling. You could even just do audio voice notes where you're just talking to yourself. Journaling is really helpful, or even just sitting in quiet, setting a timer for 2 minutes, and just kind of feeling what emotions come up and naming those emotions. That's a great place to start, because so often when we're involved in situations with high emotions and stress around us, a lot of tension or shifts, we can not really be aware of that impact on us. And then what happens is then it sneaks up, right? All this extra strain and stress will manifest itself in ways that are unexpected. But when we're more aware of them, of what we're really feeling and why we're maybe feeling that, then we can start to act an awareness of those emotions rather than reacting to them. And so it's a more empowered place to be. It's also conserving your energy, because if you're checking in like at lunchtime, maybe do it with your meals as you're eating, checking in and saying, how am I feeling? And maybe at lunchtime you're like, you know what, that one post by so-and-so, I'm still thinking about it. And that's draining energy, right? So you're allowing something to be draining your energy. And when you're aware of it, you can say, you know, I'm choosing to let that go. How do I think about it? What do I feel about it? Do I want to take action on it? Yes or no? And then you can kind of move forward. But often we have all these things that we just allow to be stressors and we don't identify them. And then we're just like depleting all of our energy to all of these things that most of the time we don't control. So checking in with yourself more regularly. Maybe every mealtime, just asking yourself the question, how am I feeling? Am I stressed? What am I thinking about? Building that awareness, really valuable. Third quick thing, processing your emotions in different ways. So our emotions are not just thoughts, they're actually felt in our bodies, right? Our emotions are our chemical responses. You know, we have thoughts, but we feel things, and they're chemical responses in our bodies. So we can process our emotions through our bodies. And what happens so often is we get stuck in emotions, negative emotions usually, and those really deplete our energy. So if we're in a negative emotion, our bodies are feeling that, and it actually can activate our stress response in our bodies. So taking care of your physical body is a really great way to help process emotions. One of my favorite, simplest things to do to process emotions in my body is through movement. So it can be as simple as going for a walk, but something that I really like to do is combining music and movement. And it can be as simple as maybe finding a playlist on Apple Music or something. They have these new like emotional playlists. So if you like want to feel happy, or if you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling these things, and it'll just curate music based on emotions. Or just maybe some songs that make you feel something. Turn on one or two of them in a space by yourself and just let your body move to the music. It doesn't have to be pretty dance. It doesn't have to be anything, but you're moving your body to music, which helps, activate different parts of your brain, move your body, and helps you process emotions. And usually when I do that, I also get better clarity on maybe what I'm really feeling. So if you feel stuck and tense, or just stuck and stressed, or just you don't know what you're feeling, movement, especially movement to music, is a really powerful way to process and shift. So processing emotions, not just in our heads, but in our bodies, is really valuable as well. And then fourth, really spend the time in the next few weeks in the middle of a lot of this chaos to focus in on the things that are most valuable to you and the things that are not changing. Right? Throughout history and throughout the world, people navigate political shifts all the time, and we've done it before as a country, and we can do it again. But focusing on what is not changing for you, what's really valuable for you, and where your sphere of influence really is. So like spending extra time with your loved ones, investing in those relationships, spending extra time with the things you're passionate about maybe, or making a plan for the next year of how you want to volunteer to help improve your community in ways that you're passionate about, because that's where change happens, is at the community level. So are you worried about your neighbors not having enough food in this difficult economy? Find a food bank and commit to helping out and helping support that food bank for the next few months. So taking action in an area that you're concerned about, that is in line with your values, is going to help you feel more in control, and it's actually going to make change rather than worrying and taking on everyone else's worry and emotional distress, right? When we're able to identify, what am I passionate about? What's really important to me? What change can I impact? We are automatically more empowered, less stressed, because we know we're taking steps forward in ways that make sense for us. Also remember that this is not a chance to try to fix everything, right? Focus on one small thing that you are passionate about and that is in your local community, in your sphere of influence, and start there, right? We don't want you also to be burnt out and exhausted trying to fix all the problems. But maybe as a nurse, you could volunteer at a vaccination clinic, or you could volunteer at a community clinic that serves low-income people, and you can donate your time. Or maybe you're really great at organizing events and you can get on a board for a nonprofit that you're really passionate about and help organize their fundraising event, or write letters to local leaders. There's so many things that we can do to create change that I think we don't do as much as we could. And we kind of give that power over to people far away, right? In other parts of the country. And we need to just look at what we can do to make change in our local communities. One of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa is, that if we don't have peace, it's because we forgot we belong to each other. So remembering that we belong to each other and we can help take care of each other. And also that peace begins in the home. So how can you improve yourself, peace within yourself, and peace within your home? So I hope that these were helpful, encouraging things to help you navigate this. Remember that as empathetic people, if you are, which most nurses are because we care about other people, know that you might feel more impact from the environment around you. So this is your permission to regulate what's coming into your world, right? To unfollow people if you need to, or to set boundaries with conversations, or to not be on your phone as often. Set those boundaries to protect yourself and your precious energy, because when you're stressed out, that's not good for you, for your health, or for those people that love you. So I'm here for you, and we're going to have a great week together. And let me know which one of these tips stood out for you most, or how you want to move forward with taking care of yourself. And we will all kind of join together to focus on taking care of ourselves and decreasing our stress and improving our emotional resilience. So have a great Tuesday, and I hope you have a good week. I'll talk to you soon.